Next up on the number one tee.
Well, hello, and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori, and I am your host. We're back. Shannon Mercer is back with us. We are going to get into part 2 of role reversal, asking all the questions. Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
So we're actually here on a separate occasion. So part 1's already aired. You've taken a listen to it. What do you think after your first pod recording?
Well, I was a little nervous, to be honest. I honestly think it's like your first golf tournament.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you don't know.
Uh-huh.
So, and then afterwards I was like, okay, it really wasn't as big of a deal as what I was making it out to be. But yeah it was a little nerve-wracking preparing for it.
And now you're back.
Now I'm back.
And
Veteran.
Yeah. Well, and I only give you a hard time because I think you would be so good at it. So I'm just like, I want you to have fun and I want you to come back and share with us. But before I let you get in the interviewer seat, I got to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
So what has your golf journey been like?
You know, I started pretty young in junior high, but then when I started competing, I found out that I actually started later in life because a lot of people I competed against started in elementary school or when they could walk.
Yeah.
But I got involved in junior golf, played at the club, that I grew up in. And high school, actually, our second year was the first year of women's golf being recognized as a sanctioned sport.
Interesting.
But my first year in high school, which it was a 3-year high school, so my sophomore year at state, I shot like 113, 117, something around that. And then by my senior year, I ended up winning state stroke play, junior state stroke play, and had 3 rounds in the 70s. So it's kind of like that was my 3-year golf journey.
Exactly.
Competing.
Yeah. And what happened after that? Did you continue to play? Did you play at the collegiate level? What happened?
I kind of had a college experience like you. So I went away. It was before Title IX had taken effect for women's golf. So there weren't many golf teams whatsoever and less money available. So I grew up in Colorado. There wasn't a girls team in the entire state of Colorado, but there was in Wyoming. So I went briefly to Wyoming and realized that really wasn't for me. And then decided to chase my golf dreams after working at some courses in Colorado in the summer. I had a job opportunity to come down to Arizona and make golf a career full-time. So in Colorado, it was just seasonal. And I was kind of dabbling in it, wasn't really sure if I wanted to dive into the industry. I really needed a break after college, kind of hung up my clubs for a bit, and then decided to jump all in. Came down to Arizona, became an assistant pro, got into the LPGA and PGA programs, was thinking that I wanted to be Class A PGA, and then as well as the LPGA. LPGA was more focused on teaching at the time, and the PGA program was more focused on business.
Yeah, actually, can you explain that to us? So can you explain that process? So there's a difference between PGA, LPGA, and getting certified. What's going on there? Because it's confusing.
And it might have changed because we are talking, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but you would get into an apprentice program. You needed to be employed. I don't know if it was part-time or full-time. I believe it was full-time. You needed to be employed at a golf course. And so you sign up. There is also a player's ability test involved for both the LPGA program and the PGA program. So most of the head professionals, director of golf, they would be a PGA Class A professional. And that takes generally years, to get to that level. It is a lot of education. It's, time literally in class that you're going to, become a well-rounded golf professional knowing the business side, the teaching side, and, kind of all elements of the golf industry. So I entered both programs because I really wasn't exactly sure what path I was going to take, if I wanted to become a head golf professional or a general manager of a club, or did I want to go the teaching route. I was leaning more towards wanting to go the teaching route, what I thought. And then I started getting into some of the retail aspects of golf. So I think as a female at that time, there weren't a lot of female professionals, for one, at the courses. Now you can pretty much guarantee that every course is probably going to have one woman professional in the golf shop. So I started doing like the retail buying and merchandising and that, which actually made me very marketable in the golf industry at that time because I had the professional status. Then I also loved to teach, and then I could also do the merchandising and the retail buying for the golf shop. So I started at Ancala Country Club, went on to the Estancia Club, and then ended on the professional side at Greyhawk Golf Club, and really was focusing more on the retail side of the business when I was at Greyhawk. And then I got out of it. I ended up moving to the other side of the golf industry and becoming a manufacturer sales rep. And I loved that part of the industry. It was absolutely phenomenal. So if you go into a golf shop, every golf line has a sales rep. And so, as diving into the industry, I kind of had to take the no-name brands, whoever would give me a job, because I didn't have the relationships with all the courses and the buyers and so forth, and then work your way up. But I did that for about 14 years. And that's probably the part of the golf industry that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah. And then how recently did you turn amateur again? And
just recently, actually. It was when I decided to join a club. So I joined Moon Valley, and I wanted to play in the ladies, golf association. And I said, oh gosh, I've never taken care of that. I need to get my amateur status back.
And what was that process like?
For me, it was very simple. It was a matter of filling out the application online with the USGA. And then they did, go through their research of me because I saw that the gentleman doing it was checking me out on LinkedIn. But you really need to be out of the professional status for a period of time. He could see that I've been out of golf for, 12 15 years. Yeah. So they reinstated my amateur status right away.
And how's your relationship with golf right now?
I love this game. I am just so passionate about this game. I actually hung my clubs up for about 10 years, and I would play and, I would get the invite for one charity scramble a year probably, and I'd break out the clubs.
The token charity scramble, yep.
Totally being used for the red tees and to, hopefully bomb one off the tee. Yeah. But other than that, it was family, kids, life, finances, like all of that really plays into how much time you're going to be able to dedicate to this game. So pick the game back up about 5 years ago. I think this is my 5th golf season. And I'm like, why did I ever lay those clubs down? Yeah. I just absolutely love the game.
Yeah. And what are your goals?
Oh, I want to get down to at 3 handicap. I try and keep everything realistic because it's almost like when I really set out these golf goals, I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. Right now, I just want to really be in the season of I enjoy the game. I enjoy playing in as many events as I can, but my career is very time consuming. I am a single mom, have a 9-year-old, and so it's just I give myself a lot of grace when it comes to golf of I don't have the time, so I have to enjoy what my game is today, and every time I'm able to get out there on the course, that really is my goal. Yeah, of make sure I enjoy every moment. Just having the ability to be out there.
Yeah, it's a great sport.
It is.
All right. Well, I feel like I needed you to share your journey a little bit. We're going to dive more into that probably in the future, but for now, I'll let you I'll let you start asking the questions
Relinquish
again.
control.
Which you know I love to do. Question 1, are you a control freak? Yes. Let's make that perfectly clear.
We both are a bit.
Yeah,
That's kind of how you got set up. Actually, you didn't have much of a choice. It's your podcast. Okay, I'm going to take over. So, what is the most embarrassing moment or memory in golf?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I can't pinpoint one exactly, but I mean, I have had lots. We touched on this in the last episode. I've had, especially this year, I've had lots of last place appearances. And here's the thing. It's, I'm out there on Instagram. I want to share my story as much as possible. I went through a period of time where I never talked about the club championship on Instagram or anything because I didn't want to say I'm playing in the club championship this year and then lose and then have to admit that I just lost, But I'm trying to share my journey throughout just so you can see, okay, I'm signing up for this tournament. I'm uncomfortable. I'm playing against kids. I'm playing against college kids, and I'm nervous, and I don't know what's going to happen. And I go play, and I share my journey regardless. And this year, there's been plenty of occasions where, I was last. Did I have a right to be there? I don't really know. It's one of the I don't want to. That's probably the most embarrassing part is just having it out there. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. Maybe I'm not that good yet, so that's that's the embarrassing things that I think of now. Years ago, probably it was more like I had the shanks on an entire round. Almost 1 year ago, I played in the LNGA tournament in Tubac, and
What's the LNGA?
LNGA is the Ladies National Golf Association. So they host 3 tournaments a year: the seniors, the mid-am, and an amateur tournament every year. They're fantastic tournaments. You should absolutely be playing in it. I'll let you know when to sign up.
That is a golf goal of mine. I was going to say, I need to play in more state events.
It was the I think it was the first round, and I made it all the way to the 13th hole, and I have an 86-yard shot, and I shank it. And there's water to the right, so I shank it, goes right in the water. And I haven't had the shanks in a long time. And so I was like, okay, stay calm. Go up, drop my ball, hit it, move on from that hole. But then I get to the next hole. I shank another ball. And it just, what's the term? It just dominoed.
Snowballed, yeah.
Snowballed for the rest of the round. I have the shanks. Oh, shit. And so, that's years ago. That's kind of what the embarrassing ones were. But, I've done all the horse races. I've missed a bunch of shots in the past in front of people, and it is what it is. It happens.
And when I say that's a lie, I think there's so many lies that we tell ourselves, and then they start to consume us, whether it's golf or non-golf. But on the golf course, sort of, the ladies have chimed in on Instagram of I'm not good enough to play in a tournament, or I'm not good enough to get a handicap, or
exactly.
So yes, we've all been there for sure. So this question came in. You might know who it's from. Will you try to redeem yourself in this year's Southwest Am? Sean Ferris.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Sean. So that's actually the tournament I was talking about in this last story. Not the LNGA one, but where I was questioning, do I deserve to be here? Am I good enough? And I absolutely was going to sign up for the Southwestern again. The guy that runs it has come up to me multiple times saying, please apply. We want you there. Please apply. Because you have to apply to enter into these tournaments and get accepted. And so I absolutely was going to move forward with it. Unfortunately, it overlaps with the state mid-am. So I'm going to choose the state mid-am over the Southwestern. But if it didn't overlap, I would have showed up again. Absolutely.
So, Mr. Ferris, she's not scared.
No, she's
herself.
I am fucking scared, but I know that I need to show up and do it. I know for myself, I need to just show up and see what happens.
So what's the weirdest thing a player has done at a tournament on or off the course?
The weirdest thing? I can't pinpoint anything in particular.
Just really off. Someone's done something that you just shook your head.
No, I mean, I don't know. We've seen it all, I feel like. Weird, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we've all had our moments where we're playing bad and we get frustrated and we get angry and maybe we shut down, we stop talking, or, whether it's a partner event or individual. So we all go through those periods where, we're probably having a little out of body experience and
sure,
we're not showing our best selves.
I'm sure we can think of some weird things off the course that have happened at maybe some of your trips instead of
yes, exactly.
So what is the greatest golf accomplishment? What is your greatest golf accomplishment?
I would say qualifying for the USGA Mid-Am was a big deal. And I have to say that day going into the qualifier, I didn't even know what a USGA championship was all about. I didn't know what the experience was. I just kept getting pushed to go qualify. Our friend, Kim, and also my friend Liz Waynick, that year especially, they kept telling me, you must go try and qualify for the Mid-Am. You must go do this. And I was like, why? I don't really care. I don't want to do that, And Liz especially, just kept pushing me. Like the qualifier would come out, she sent me the link, sign up, just go do it. And I finally just gave in. I signed up. And even that morning, I'm waking up having to go to the qualifier at Maribel Golf Club. And I didn't know what I was doing that day. And that's probably why I played so well, because I didn't really know what I was competing for. I didn't know how fabulous these USGA championships actually were. So I go in, it's a one-day qualifier, and Molly's my caddy, and you have to walk during these qualifiers.
You have to walk. Summer, right?
Yeah, it was in August. You have to walk, and you have to walk in the championships too. And it's 100 degrees out, and we're walking. I mean, I remember we stopped at every comfort station, and we're drenching ourselves with water. We're, Molly's getting snacks. She's making me eat. She's eating chips on the sidelines, for heaven's sake. And it was and I remember Liz telling me before, just fairways and greens. And I'm like, okay. And I really took that to heart that day. I just kept saying to myself, okay, get this ball in the fairway. Okay, it's in the fairway. Get this on the green. Aim for the middle of the green. See what happens. And I ended up shooting 76 that day, and it qualified me. I was the second qualifier. And I got to go to the USGA Mid-Am, and it was the best golf experience of my life.
And then you almost got DQ'd on the first hole.
I almost got DQ'd on the first hole, but I also qualified for match play too. And that too is something I'm very proud of, so I made it to the first match. I did lose the first match on the 18th hole, but it was a fairly good match. And it was just such an amazing experience. So I know I say it a ton, but if you're in that Mid-Am level, which is 25 years and up, you have an opportunity to try and qualify. And this could be anyone, even if you're in the senior level too, and you can qualify for the Mid-Am. Go for it. There's a ton of senior players that play in the Mid-Am. But if you are 25 years or older, please go try and qualify for the USGA Mid-Am this year. It is one round. You're going to pay $100 to go try and qualify. And then you have such a good chance of qualifying because there is not a lot of women that try and do it. That field is so small. And again, it's one round. You never know. You could shoot a 78, 79 and qualify. This is not something you're trying to shoot 5 under. That's not realistic. I shot a 76 and qualified, and I think that I think it was 75, and the next score was 76. These are not super low scores, and you know it. If you're listening, I know you've shot in the 70s before, and it could possibly happen on that day. And boom, you're qualified for the USGA Mid-Am.
That's awesome. So if you could play with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why? So fill the foursome.
Fill the foursome. This is going to sound really like not. So I want to play with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning.
I love it.
It's not like some, I don't know, like really, I would love to play golf with the Manning brothers. And, if I had to pick like a professional golfer to go in there, I mean, again, I'm a big Rory fan, Tiger fan, but to me, when you ask me that question, I am going to say Eli and Peyton Manning. That comes to mind first. Now, my grandfather, who we used to call Ba, he's passed away. He comes to mind very quickly because he was so super competitive. And actually, whenever I'm playing in a tournament and I'm struggling and it's a tournament that I care about, I think about like, what would he do? Or is he here with me? I know he's like around somewhere. I know he's watching because he would always like be so invested in us playing sports and what we were doing. So I would love him to be there, but he never played golf. So maybe he's just like my cart driver for the day.
I love it.
And then also, I mean, my family, Alex and my parents and Casey, I mean, we have so much fun playing golf together. So that's really the best. But if you if we're talking about anyone, yeah, Peyton and Eli Manning. I
love that.
Yes.
I'm actually a big Peyton fan, but
Huge
for the
Peyton.
Broncos. So
Yeah. Yes. I just follow Peyton wherever he goes.
And they're funny.
Yeah,
So that would be a fun foursome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Casey. Who's the better golfer? You or Casey?
I am.
Okay.
I've been the better golfer for quite some time now. It happened very quick when I started playing that, he was playing a lot way back in the day. And then it happened pretty quick where I started playing a lot more golf than he does.
So what's your bet when you play?
We rarely bet.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're not really competitive with each other either. Like,
Okay.
I can't even remember the last time I said to him, okay, whoever wins today gets X, Y, and Z. We just don't do that. We just go out and play, which is weird considering how competitive both of us are, but
You just enjoy the time together.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Arizona golf courses. I actually kind of made a note here. Your favorite Arizona golf courses. And I did notice, so people were taking note of that, and tagging friends and so forth. But so I wanted to add maybe a couple others because your listeners might not know that Arizona Country Club and White Mountain, those are private clubs.
Private. So let's get into
we
public.
we did talk about Papago. I know a couple of my favorites. I think both of our favorites is Quintero.
Yes.
Absolutely love that course. You've got black lava rock in the middle of, the contrast of the saguaros and the desert. It's stunningly beautiful. Another favorite of mine is Wicopah, but I love the saguaro course. Just there aren't any homes around these courses as well. So I think there was some listeners that might be planning a golf trip here. So do you have
let's
any
talk
others?
about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Quintero first. So Quintero is the most beautiful desert course, in my opinion, in the state. It
By
is
far.
stunning. Public. Okay. We're talking public courses. It's always in fantastic condition too. So you get these unbelievable views and the course is just in phenomenal shape too. Just so you know, it is about a 45-minute drive from Phoenix, Scottsdale. So it's quite a hike. We actually used to go on a girls trip there and stay. They have like villas there with multiple bedroom master suites in there. So you can have like big groups that stay there. And we used to have like an invitational where it was 2 days and we'd stay overnight there. Lots of fun. So Quintero is something very special, but it's a drive. It's a hike. But you have to do it. You have to do it. Wicopah I actually played fairly recently. And it was the first time I played it in a long time. I do not like desert courses. They're not my favorite. Okay, I hit a ball off the tee that could go sideways. And for some reason, even because a lot of these desert courses have mammoth fairways, but for some reason you only see the desert. Like you think, because again, you hit it in the desert and most likely it's gone. It's in the bush or you're in trouble. So it could be the biggest fairway ever. And for some reason, I still just think it's very small, off the tee.
Visually can really mess with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really have to, get your line and own it. But your mind does play some tricks
It does.
on the target golf.
So I just played Wicked Paw again for the first time in a long time, and it's desert. And I got myself in quite a couple scenarios where I was swearing profusely. But I remember standing on that course, looking around, thinking, this is gorgeous. And it is. It is so peaceful and quiet. Like you can't hear a pin drop.
Right.
It's so quiet. And I played Saguaro too. I don't know if I've ever even played the other course, but it was stunning. So I understand why people play there. I just have an issue with desert courses. I just don't see the hype, but it was quite something. I love the Camelback course, Ambiente. So Camelback Golf Club has two courses, Ambiente and Padre. I actually enjoy Padre too, but Ambiente gets more love. It's close by, like it's very close to Old Town. It's centrally located, and it's a very fun course and a good restaurant. And what other course? I love Raven in South Phoenix.
Raven's good.
Yeah.
What about in Southern Dunes and Whirlwind? You know, those on the south side.
I've played Southern Dunes a ton, and I enjoy that course. I play it really well. I do enjoy it. The problem is it smells. It's near the farms. So you get, if it's windy, you
must have been, upwind.
Yeah, no, as long as it's not super windy out there, then you're fine. You don't smell it. But if there's a wind, you're smelling farm the entire day. But that's a fun course too. It is.
And mountain shadows. You have to say mountain shadows.
Oh yeah, mountain shadows for sure. So, and that's for anyone. Especially if you are on the newer side of golf and you are coming to Scottsdale to come play, go play Mountain Shadows. It is such a fun par 3 course. And even if you've been playing forever, it can be a challenging course too. Those greens are quite something. So, definitely. And the views are beautiful.
And then up north, Greyhawk, True North, some of the classics, the boulders.
I know. Yeah.
But so hopefully that helps with everyone listening, more public courses there. So how about he's a 9, but he's always late?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if I could do that. I'm one that I like to push the limit. I like to show up right on time, like a minute early, but I'm definitely one that's at home and I'm like, okay, it takes me 10 minutes to get there. I'm going to stay here until 11 minutes out. I like to stay busy all the time. That's why I don't like to warm up a lot before a round, because to me, I get antsy and I'd rather, I am here to golf a round and I just want to go out and start playing right away.
That's actually one of the questions.
Yeah.
Because and someone asked what your pre-shot routine is, or pre-shot, sorry, your warm-up routine. And I added, since you're a bit of a trunk slammer,
yes.
What is your warm-up routine? Let's say for a tournament.
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Oh my gosh.
Is it the same as when you're...
So I have to say, I've been paying attention now, because a couple months ago I put it out there on Instagram. I said, okay, for the next year, I'm going to show up an hour early. I'm going to show up an hour early to all tournament rounds, and I'm going to warm up. I'm going to have a, good routine. I'm not going to be in a rush, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to commit to it. And I committed to it for a handful of rounds, and it is just not for me right now.
An hour's a lot.
Yeah. And
I think too much.
I trunk slam a lot, okay? Tournaments, casual rounds, it doesn't matter.
This means she gets her clubs, slams the trunk, and walks right to the tee.
And I love it.
Tori had me at Arizona Country Club just pretty recently. And I don't get there early much either. But I want to hit maybe 10 balls. It's kind of like 3 with my wedge, 3 with my 7-iron, and 3 with my driver. And I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I just want to roll a couple putts.
Yeah.
But you were down to my last putt. And I'm like, where is she? And then you came strolling up. So that's a trunk slammer.
Yeah. And so I've done plenty of rounds trunk slamming, and I hate to say it, but I play pretty decent. There's no difference. There's no difference between warming up ahead of time and trunk slamming. Now, I want to play well, so I'd hate to think that it's a detriment to do that. But again, I don't have the patience to show up early. There's other stuff I want to get done. And so I just try and get as much stuff done as possible. And I love to practice. So it's not really about practicing, but when I go to the club to practice, that's what I'm doing. I'm not playing around. So I think a lot of people like to use that pre-round hour warm-up as practice too, which is fine. I just don't like to do that.
And I think it's a personality thing too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we probably recommend being a trunk swimmer. But okay, so he's an 8, but he wears a visor.
No. That's a no. So the funny thing is that Ashley sent me a picture of a dude sitting at a bar after a golf round. I feel like it was actually at Greyhawk. And he was sitting at the bar and he had a visor on backwards with a ball marker on his visor. And I replied back to Ashley and I said, Ashley, under no circumstances does a man use a ball marker like on his hat. That is not okay.
See, I know a lot of guys that
they do. They use a ball marker.
Maybe not a lot, but yeah.
Oh God, no.
So am I bad raising my son? He has a little ball marker, a little cat clip.
I feel like guys have it in their pocket. Like they have a quarter in their pocket, and we have the bedazzled ball marker. I'm sorry.
What is your favorite color?
Blue. For
okay.
Sure. Yeah.
See, there were bets if it was going to actually be pink or not.
Yeah.
So
no, it's blue. Blue, navy.
Okay.
Blues.
Why pink and navy? Someone asked.
It was just the original. So my mom is all navy all the time. Navy, white. That's how our houses are decorated. And, that's all she wears. And so, I grew up in that. And so when I was making my brand colors for Compete Confidence, navy had to be in there. And I just, I really like pink and navy together. So that's how it was just kind of formed.
Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's better at golf? Oh, I already asked you this question. Sorry, that was Casey. So, so this is from the video. One of my favorite videos of you is of you and Loretta swimming in the pond. Now that was Arizona Country Club.
No, that was Forest Highlands.
Oh, at Forest Highlands. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
let's just clarify. We would be kicked out of Arizona Country Club if we did that at Arizona Country Club.
I thought it was Arizona. So this was my question: did you get a letter?
Yeah,
from the club.
No.
So maybe explain. And you might have to repost the video.
I know. We'll repost the video. So Loretta and I it was at Swing Fest at Forest Highlands in July. We were guests. So that's where my sister belongs.
Both were guests?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's where my sister belongs over the summer. And so my Alex has me as her guest at their invitational every year, which is a big 3-day event, tons of fun. Loretta was actually she was supposed to play in it too, but her partner canceled last minute. But she just still came up and played the practice round with us. It was so hot that day. And we're in Flagstaff. So if it's hot in Flagstaff, man, I can't even imagine what it was like in Phoenix. But it was hot. It was muggy. And that pond is right on the 18th hole at Canyon. And Loretta, of course, I mean, if you know Loretta, this makes total sense. She goes, let's get into that pond. And I said, okay, you do it first and I'll come right in after you. And she does. She takes off her shoes. I mean, she just went right in.
She's backstroking in the video.
And then I get in and man, I'll tell you what, it felt really good. It was so hot that day. And did we get a letter? No, because we're not the member. Now, did Alex get a letter? I don't think so. I don't think she did. But I did. I mean, our Forest Highlands friends just got a kick out of it.
Oh,
I don't know.
I've gotten a kick out of it. I've watched it repeatedly. So what did you do before you started your golf company?
So I have most of my jobs have been working for my family. So when I was growing up in high school, I would work at my dad's marina in Canandaigua on Canandaigua Lake. And I would work weekends and I would go in, every weekend and go work for him. And then once I graduated high school, I got into real estate really quick. Now I was living in California at the time and then Arizona. But once we moved back to Rochester, I started working with my mom with her real estate group in Rochester. And then once I moved back to Phoenix, I've gone so many zigzags back and forth. I worked for Alex for her company. And that was actually right in the beginning of her starting her website. So I was kind of in the beginning stages of that. So I've worked for all family members, and I've worked for Casey for a small stint too. So I just kind of go pillar to post and did my own thing. And then I was finally like, you know what, let's start my own thing. And, you know, like we talked about in the last episode, it was all started with the signature course, the 6-week signature course, which I made because it's something that helped me become a better golfer and focus more on my practice sessions. And that was the start of it. And it just kind of, you know, then one day Rose came up to me and she's like, why don't we do a girls trip?
That was my next question. Gosh, your segues are amazing.
Yeah. So it just happened like that. Rose came up to me one day and she's like, I think we should do a girls trip overseas. I think it will go. I think it will be a hit.
And so that's how you decided to do the girls golf trips.
Yeah.
It was you and Rose.
It was
Rose helps coordinate.
Yeah. So I basically hire Rose to coordinate everything, organize the trip, and then I'm the host and I sell it. And Rose does a phenomenal job. I mean, she's been doing it for years and years and years. She's amazing, and she knows exactly where to go. Not just golf courses, but restaurants, where to stay, best transportation to take around. I mean, she knows it all. And especially with those overseas trips, it's complicated and it's an investment for all of us to go. Right. And you want to make that investment on a world-class trip. And she spoils us, you know that. So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in building your businesses?
You know, social media is a beast. You know, it is a roller coaster in itself.
And a time suck, right?
Yeah. So right now, for instance, I just posted a video with Lisa Longball. Okay. And it was about the golf tips she talks about with, you know, lifting your head
down.
And keep your head down, and what a bad tip that is. And that video is doing really well. So it's like, it's fun when that's happening. You know, you're getting engagement, you're getting followers, you're getting really good feedback. And then, you know, the next post you do, it doesn't do as well. And, you know, I've learned to accept that that's the way the game is. And then you get people that say stupid shit, you know, and, you know, the more your videos and content goes viral, the more stupid shit is said to you. Okay. Because it goes out to the masses.
Hand in hand. Yeah.
You know, people that are just looking at my stuff that follow me, well, they know it, and they don't say stupid shit because they follow me and they like me.
Right.
But, you know, so the more it goes viral, the more you have to deal with people saying mean things or stupid stuff. So you go through a phase of having that affect you. And I'd say at this point, it doesn't affect me as much as it used to. But it's, you know, there are days and periods of time where you don't want to be on social media. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do a story today. And there are days I take completely off and I put my phone away, but that is part of the business, and I have to keep showing up, and it's not easy, and it's not fun all the time either. So it's kind of knowing its purpose and why you're doing it. And again, that's why I try and share as much of my journey as possible with golf, because I know at the end of the day, if I'm helping one person sign up for another tournament, get a handicap index, go join a ladies league, I know how much joy that will bring to her life in the long run. So if I just keep sharing my golf journey, then that's the purpose behind it. But what was the question again? There's the struggles.
Your biggest challenges.
Yeah. So social media being its own challenge in itself, I'd say the other big challenge I have is how expensive the golf industry is. So you have to know that nothing is free. I mean, as much as you'd love to think that golf courses will give you substantial discounts, or you'll get free gear, for your swag bags, and you'll just want, like, these places just want you to show up and do it. It's not the case. And I love to give amazing experiences, but that does cost a lot. So right. The tough thing is just getting the best prices possible while also running a business and while giving an experience that is like no other, so that's probably the biggest challenge too.
So he's a 10, but he uses iron covers.
No. Okay, wait, we got to reverse back because now I feel like I'm going to get in trouble. Did you ever hear me when I talked about the iron cover situation that happened?
No.
Okay.
We've talked about the guy I dated that
it used iron covers.
But please revert back.
No, I'm going to tell my story.
Yes.
But how about, so did that affect you at all when he was using iron covers?
It did.
Yeah.
I was like embarrassed because we were at my club and he got them while we were dating. And he was almost a 10, like great looking guy. And he just showed up one day, and he's like, hey, because, he was in like commercial construction. And he's like, I've got my big truck. And I just thought if I put my clubs in the back, then they rattle around. And I was mortified. So I've been there. I didn't break up with him because of iron covers, but I thought about it.
Yeah, you kept thinking about it, didn't you? So this was probably about a year ago too, maybe 10 months ago or so. I kept seeing on social media, because there's those accounts that just do golf jokes and golf memes and repost other people's content, whatever. So I kept seeing this trend of them making fun of iron covers. Okay. And I was like, I'm getting my nails done and I get this energy inside of me. Like, you know what? I am going to go on the beginner golfer. There's a Facebook page that's like beginner golf for women or something. And it has a really good amount of people. I mean, I want to say in the thousands, like 20 to 30,000 women in it. It's a great group. Okay. So if you're a beginner and you're on Facebook still, go join that group. It's a great group. So I got this bug inside me while I'm getting my pedicure, okay, that said, I'm going to go into this group and I'm going to post in it, which I rarely do. I usually just like engage with other people's posts. I'm going to post something and I'm going to, let them know how I feel about iron covers. So I post and I said, and this was how it kind of sounded. I don't know what it was word for word, but I said, I write this with love, but I just want you to know that you don't need iron covers. It has a very bad, what word did I use? Like
negative.
It has a negative response around the golf community, and you don't need them. Okay. Holy fuck. Okay. The comments and the responses that came in after I posted this, because that was really, and I think I screenshotted like one of the negative posts that I saw on Instagram. Like, look at this example. Like, they are making fun of iron covers. And I'm just letting you know, as a beginner, you don't need them. Right. Like, you were
trying to save them from being made fun of.
Yes. Thank you. Because that's exactly what that post was doing. And so I was thinking I was like really helping them out. And they were like, oh, phew, I don't need iron covers. Okay, I'm going to get rid of them. No. They started coming after me. Like that I was being judgmental and that I was basically an asshole for posting this, and it was going downhill very quick. I mean, this was within minutes, and I'm seeing like this trend of, okay, wait, this post is not going the way I thought it was going to go.
Right.
Like it wasn't communicated the way that I wanted it to be communicated.
Sure.
So I delete it. And very quickly after, someone had already screenshotted my post and reposted it.
Oh my gosh.
And then the comments started coming again. And I mean, there was women saying like comments like, I visited your website. Wow, you're supposed to be helping women. And instead you're judging them. And I was like, holy shit. Okay. I'm sorry. I really was posting it because, again, I just wanted to share with you the negative connotation to having iron covers as in the community and, you know, whatever. You get what I was trying to do. But so I stand by it as far as like, you don't need iron covers. And if I was dating a man with iron covers, I would quickly tell him he would need to dispose of them.
Oh, goodness. I had no idea that people were so passionate about iron covers.
Yeah, I think they were more passionate about me telling them what my thoughts were about them, perhaps. I don't know, but everything was good. Everything was good. I feel like that was in one news cycle and it was out the next day. So we survived.
So he's a 5, but he's a scratch or a plus.
I think that's attractive.
Me
Yes.
too.
Yes.
I agree.
You know, golf's hard. Golf is a hard sport. And so I actually, but I would say that anytime someone is very good at something, I find it attractive. You know,
Agreed.
so it could be any sport or any, you know, profession, whatever. If they hold confidence in this certain thing and they're really good at it, it's like, yeah, that's really attractive.
I agree. So how do you balance kids, husband, business, and a killer golf game? I want to say we almost touched on that on the
We could have
first a bit.
It's you know, again, it's
there's
pretty
probably
much
a recipe for that. It is just a constant, probably juggling act.
Yeah, it is, and it is my only hobby. We touched on it because we were talking about hobbies. I used to play a lot of pickleball. I've come to the conclusion that I don't have time to play pickleball anymore. And again, it's because the competitiveness in me, like when I'm playing pickleball, okay, now I want to start getting lessons and now I want to start looking for pickleball tournaments to play in. And then I want to train more in pickleball. It's like, wait, I don't have time to be the level of pickleballer that I want to be acceptable in my mind. So I had to like almost drop it completely. Well, I did drop it completely because I just don't have time in that. Because I still, at the end of the day, it's more important to me to be a better golfer. So as far as juggling is concerned, I do the best I possibly can. As far as practicing is concerned, I just show up and practice whenever I can. And some days it just looks like putting for a half an hour. You know, golf takes up a lot of time. And we're in a community where we're playing events and we're playing in league days and we have other commitments with golf where we have to play around. That means I don't have that much time to practice because of it. And that's okay.
Sure.
You know, I think I'm becoming more accepted of the reality of time and cause you know, family does come first and other stuff takes priority. Really.
Sure. Well, and I think your listeners, they're like, gosh, how can I get this killer golf game? There's a talent element as well.
Yeah.
So not everyone is going to be a single digit, you know, let alone a scratch. That is just such a small percentage of the population of golfers.
Yeah, but you can work towards it.
Sure.
You definitely can.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're so modest. So who on tour gives you swing envy?
Well, Nelly Corda's swing is something
phenomenal.
else. And just her tempo. And like watching her swing helps me as a swing thought while I'm playing. Like I can think of her tempo and I can think of the way her front knee, so for me, it's my left knee because I'm a righty, doesn't dip down as much as mine does. So it reminds me of that. And it used to be Ernie Els. I would watch Ernie Els swing videos.
Big Easy.
Yeah. And he's just so smooth,
Right.
you know? The Rorys and the Tigers and even the Lexi Thompsons where they're just they're fast and they're powerful. Mm-hmm. That doesn't help me with my swing. I have to see someone that's like graceful and just effortless.
We're very similar that way.
Because
we're already so ramped up.
Exactly.
we don't need to swing faster.
I'm like a rhinoceros with a golf club, for heaven's sake, half the time.
What's your go-to snack on the golf course?
Anything. I love potato chips. I mean, I just recorded a podcast before this where they literally brought me like potato chips as a hostess gift for doing the podcast. We are a potato chip eating family. So, but for a regular round at like say Arizona Country Club, when I make the turn, I'm grabbing like half an egg salad sandwich, and that will do it.
And chips.
Yeah.
So what is the most used emoji on your phone?
That's a very good question. Hold on, let me look. Let me see what's I love the face that has the teeth grinding. So like that one.
Yep.
Okay. I love the fire emoji. I use that one a lot. But and there's a heart.
See,
Yeah.
I do the laughing faces, I think.
I'm going to tell you what I don't like though.
Okay.
Okay. And when someone sends this to me, I get a visceral reaction.
I'm going to send it to you just to annoy you.
I don't like a thumbs up. Okay. I don't like a thumbs up emoji. And I don't like when someone thumbs up, like, you know how you could tap the comment, the message, and it gives you a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You want the heart.
Yeah. I want the heart. I definitely never want a thumbs up emoji. Never.
I never thought of it as in a like, but I'm not a big fan of because it's kind of like that.
Just a reminder, this is on YouTube, so you can watch us actually like
thumbs up each other.
It seems like the thumbs up seems more like a fuck you.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
A sarcastic element
like
to it.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Thumbs up. So there are certain people in my life that do the thumbs up fairly regularly, and I have to just like,
So what is the left dash and what's your feeling on it? This came from Tara Bateman.
Okay, so thank you, Tara.
To maybe give a little bit of context there.
So I actually did not know what the left dash was. And
I don't know what the left, I know it's on the ball, but I don't really know what the left.
Okay, so
Titleist.
hold on, it's going to be the next, so episode 28, which is already aired by the time this posts. It's actually going to be the episode before this. Beth Yahara, our Titleist ball expert, goes into depth what the left dash is, the Titleist Pro V1X left dash is. So you can go listen to that episode. But the impression I got was that the left dash was actually a version of the Pro V, I'm going to say the Pro V1X, it could be the Pro V1, from like 2016 or 2014 that they just really liked. And so they've almost brought it back and they call it the left dash. I could be totally wrong with that, but I know, just listen to that episode.
Okay.
I think it's less spin too, though.
Okay. So you've taught us nothing.
Nothing. And so Beth and I recorded that episode during Desert Classic Week. So it was, almost a full month ago. And I was, my mind was a little scattered. So please.
We just have to listen. Now I want to know. So.
We're going to post it. It's already on my Instagram. By the time this posts, you're already going to know what a left dash is. So.
Perfect. So if you can only have one Sour Patch Kid flavor, which one are you taking?
It's got to be the blue.
Okay.
I mean, the blue and the red, they're the best. But I'd say the blue. How about you?
I don't like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh.
I know.
So I'm getting asked a lot right now, how did I lose some pounds? Okay, because I have lost a little bit of weight. November, Molly and I were driving back from Utah from the 4-ball qualifier, and we're driving back, and I mean, we had the amount of candy and food we had on that drive home. It was endless. We just kept going. We kept going with the food, snacks, drive-throughs. And I got home from that trip. I'm like, oh my God, I can never eat again. I'm done. I'm done eating. So actually from that day on, I stopped eating pizza and candy for, I think, till at least mid-February. And I think that really, really helped me.
Sugar and the carbs
now,
that turn to sugar.
Here's the thing. I'm eating sugar again a little bit and pizza again a little bit. But I'm just saying in that period of time like that, those are my vices. So I had to stop those two things because usually pizza leads to candy and candy leads to worse decisions. So that's just for me. That's a little explanation of how I.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
So we're coming down to the end here.
I
So
like it.
do you have any golf superstitions?
I usually have a ball that I'm always play with. Right now, it's a Titleist Pro V1X, a red 9. I call it a red 9. So when they ask to identify your ball, I'm saying red 9, and I have two sayings on it. Either most of them say boom, and then I have some that say Team F bombs. So I'm always playing with whatever ball I've decided to play with. I used to play with the Titleist Pro V1 18.
Right. And what's the 9? I think I missed
just
that.
needed a switch.
Okay.
And it was half of 18, and
Okay.
I just had to switch it up.
Okay.
Okay, but we all know 18 was because of Peanut. I call him Peanut, which is Peyton Manning.
I knew 18. I just didn't know the reason for the 9. So
I
there's
know.
that.
I just felt like it was time. It
Okay.
was time to switch up. So we're going to see how the 9 works out. We'll see. Other superstitions. That's really the only one that I can really think of right off the bat, but I know I have routines. I have a pre-shot routine. I have a putting routine, that I probably do and I don't even notice anymore,
What is your pre-shot routine?
For
Off the tee and then putting.
Yeah. So, with full shots, I'm obviously figuring out the yardage. I usually only take one practice swing, maybe 2, and I line myself up and I go. I consider myself a pretty quick golfer. Putting, I do use the line to line myself up for my putting, for my stroke. And right now I'm backing up. I'm setting the line with the ball, and I'm taking a couple practice swings behind the ball. But I have to walk up to the ball, and I have to have almost my last look at the putt be as I'm walking up, because that gives me the confidence of the line that I've chosen. Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes when you get above the ball and you're then looking at the line again, you're seeing it differently because it's not behind the ball. The best spot that you can look at the line is behind the ball, and when you get above it, sometimes you start double guessing. So I have to walk up to the ball right before my putting stroke in order to just have that confidence. That's it right now. It does shift though. The routine shift a little bit.
Well, thanks, Tori.
Thank you.
You have made it through 4 pages of questions.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
we have so much fun golfing together, and there's many more experiences ahead of us.
And memories to be made.
Thanks to golf.
Absolutely.
So before we end, what's your advice for the female golfer that is struggling right now?
Keep swinging.
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes when you're struggling, you get so analytical and your left brain takes over.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had mentioned that you play music when you practice,
Mm-hmm.
but anything to engage that right brain, so that creative side, and just trying to get out of the analytical side where we tend to beat ourselves up and we start overthinking, that helps me. So getting more target focused, getting more visionary, is what helps, but it doesn't last forever, those struggles.
Yes.
If you've golfed long enough, you're going to have highs and you're going to have lows, and then you're going to get in lows and you don't even know how you really got there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think keeping the hope of it's not going to be forever.
Mm-hmm.
I will touch base with someone that knows my swing, if it's really bad. And usually it's just something real basic and fundamental that, I've kind of gotten out of the habit of. Check your foundation, line up your alignment sticks on the range. Make sure it's just, something not just really simple that you're aiming too far left or right. But then get into some type of creative mode, music. I actually had a coach that wanted us to hum down the fairway. If we hit a bad shot or if we were struggling, he said, you can sing a little song or something, but actually if you would hum something random that isn't a song, you really start activating that other side of creative side of your brain. And actually, I think it was Lynn, with Lynn and Pia. Lynn had suggested in one of my teaching seminars that she said, I'm going to tell you, I think it was Lynn, to do a cartwheel. I'm going to like give you something down the fairway, or maybe she did this with her team, or she would say 2 cartwheels and 3 skips, like that you would have to do. But it's just something to get you out of that, analytical thinking too much that we all can do.
Yeah. And I would say that the things that we struggle with when we do get in that spot, as far as swing technique isn't, we usually always have one big thing that we struggle with, as far as like, it usually always comes back to that one thing.
Agreed.
So for me, it's probably swaying, or sway, and what's the one that you go the other way? Maybe it's the same. Overextension, swaying. Like if I'm getting in a really bad spot where I can't find the center of club face, usually like if I just concentrate on that, it's like, oh, okay, I'm just not. I just have to stay still a little bit. I have to. And
I get out on my toes.
Like That's all your balance.
Mm-hmm. So I wiggle my toes when I'm over the ball.
To make sure that you're not.
That my weight isn't way out on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
Because golf is not like other sports where you have to be ready, and on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that, and it you can't turn when you're out and your weight is on your toes.
That's
so
interesting.
It's something that my golf coach actually will show me videos of me, and then he'll put me on a rope, my toes on a rope. But that's between that and my alignment, those are usually the first things.
Mm-hmm. Well, like Shannon said, you always come out of it. So if you're in a spot right now where you're like, I don't even understand how to swing a golf club, I don't know what's going on right now, just know those times happen. They always will, and you always come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the tough part of golf.
Definitely.
And I think sticking with the sport, those are the people that make progress, that get better, because it's very easy to quit,
So keep swinging.
Keep swinging. Thanks, Shannon.
Be sure to check out the show notes for all the details on today's show. If you haven't already, please give a 5-star written review on your favorite podcast platform, or even screenshot this episode and send it to your golf buddies. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the first tee in a couple days.